Yep.
Afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. This is Woody Melton IV, and I'm with Kalika Gordon. And today we're going to be doing an animated video project for the history and laws that have led to the inclusion movement. So, starting with the timeline. So today we're going to highlight 7 key points that we want to touch on for y'all today. With step 1 being before the 1900s, step 2 being 1900 through 1950, step 3 1920 through 1950, step 4 1954 Brown versus Board of Education, 1975 Education for All Handicapped Children Act PL 94-142, and step 6, 1990, the IDEA K through 12 Act, and step 7 in 2004, response to intervention about that was added to the IDEA. So for steps 1 through 3, before the 1900s, children with disabilities were not in schools. Many of them were in institutions. So between looking at step 2, 1900 through 1950, most students with disabilities were still in institutions. There kind of had been not a whole lot of progress between 1900 and 1950. So when we're looking at step 3, 1920 through 1950, special education classes were beginning to appear in public schools. So step 4, this is probably one of the biggest points that we could, kind of reiterate and bring up and highlight was the 1954 Brown versus Board of Education. This court case is where the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that it was unlawful under the 14th Amendment to discriminate arbitrarily against any group of people. The court then applied this concept to the education of children, ruling that the state-mandated separate education for African American students cannot be an equal education. This court decision introduced the concept of integration into public education, the notion that the only way to protect students' constitutional rights to equal opportunity was to ensure that diverse student groups learned together. Soon, people with disabilities were recognized as another group whose rights often had been violated because of arbitrary discrimination. So, this is where I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Gordon.
Okay, so number 5, 1975 Education for All Handicapped Children Act. This federal educational law allowed students with disabilities to be eligible to receive public special education through specially designed instruction tailored to meet student with disability individual needs. Related services, assistance outside academic instructions that is also beneficial to the student with disability. Supplementary aids and services, needed accommodations and modifications such as personnel, support, preferential classroom access, or instructional adjustment. Parental rights, parent/guardian having input on their child's educational services. Number 6, 1990 Individuals with Disabilities Act. IDEA, originally known as Education for All Handicapped Children Act, developed the following 6 core principles for students with disabilities. Free appropriate public education. Students with disabilities are permitted to attend public schools and receive special educational services at no financial cost. Least restricted environment. As long as the child is capable, the student with disability is to be educated alongside students without disabilities in the general classroom setting. Individualized education program. This is an annually updated written plan organized by a team of professionals and parents to aid the student with disabilities educational process and progress. Non-discriminatory evaluation. When assessing a student with disability, the assessment must not discriminate on basis of race, culture, or disability. Due process. Special educational services may be disputed if not feasible to the parent's satisfaction. 0 rejection / child fine. Student with disabilities may not be omitted from receiving a public education because of disability. Number 8, 2004 response to intervention added to IDEA. RTI is a predominant strategy intervention which allows professionals to depend on test scores and interventions grounded in research and evidence-based practices to determine eligibility. Special education has evolved throughout the years and is still culminating from the days of rejection of all students with disabilities From public school settings, we have apex to the point of millions being served all across the United States. Today, many are standing on the shoulders of the past influences who paved the way for the progression of special education rights.
Thank y'all. Have a good day.
Thank you. I stumbled too much.